Hi everybody! Welcome to episode number 45 of Driftless Knitting. My name is Jennifer. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Driftless Knitter, and you can find the podcast group on Ravelry if you search for Driftless Knitting under the groups tab. So thank you so much for tuning in. A big welcome to any new viewers who are joining me today, and a big hello and welcome to all the returning viewers. Thank you so much for coming back. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. And yeah, I'm really glad that you're here and that we are chatting today. It's a Friday afternoon. It's almost 5 o'clock, I think, on Friday, October, oh goodness, what is it? Oh my gosh, it's Friday the 13th. Duh. October, Friday the 13th. I cannot believe I did not remember that. It's like the easiest date to remember. I think I just saw a post that Friday the 13th isn't going to be in October for another like 7-8 years or something like that. And you know, it makes it kind of an extra spooky sort of superstitious day. I've never really been afraid of like Friday the 13th. I know that I think it's an actual like phobia of the number 13, people kind of being very superstitious and wary of the number 13, especially like Friday the 13th. So yeah, I do know that is a thing. I've never really been anyone to sort of give it any, like, I don't know, any thought really. Just the fact that it's kind of cool that it lands in October. And I think this post was also giving recommendations on like scary movies or Halloween-y movies to watch on Friday the 13th. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. I'm not one for scary movies though. I would so much rather watch a comedy or kind of a drama comedy. I prefer that genre much, much more. I would take a comedy almost over anything besides like a good historical romance. Don't judge me. But really, I mean, you can't really go wrong with a historical romance. Something like, and I know Outlander is a TV show, but something like Outlander or Pride and Prejudice or something like that. With beautiful costumes and beautiful scenery and of course gorgeous actors. Yeah, I think those are pretty fun things to watch. So yep, I will not be partaking in scary, freaky Friday the 13th movies, but if you are, that's great and have fun. Just not my thing. So yeah, I'm coming to you from Cross Plains, Wisconsin, which is just west of Madison, Wisconsin. And I got home from work just a little bit ago, and I will talk to you more about that in a little bit. Kind of an exciting announcement. And Seaver had to do some errands tonight. He doesn't have to go into work on Friday nights, and so he uses kind of the evening to go do a couple things that he can't do otherwise because he works a third shift, a night shift. So I thought that was the perfect time to record a podcast episode because I did not get a chance to do it yesterday. And lately my schedule has been film on Thursday and edit and upload on Friday. So it'll be a little bit different. I'm filming Friday. I'm hoping to edit most of it tonight and then finish editing tomorrow and hopefully get it up by tomorrow afternoon. So I think we are going to be doing something tomorrow. We haven't really decided what, but we've decided that we want to kind of have a date day. It's going to be rainy, so there won't be any farm work to do. I think we still might go to the farm tomorrow night just to see his parents, and then Sunday Seaver will get a little bit of time working at his dad's dairy farm, which he does almost every weekend. But we thought it'd be fun for Friday night and Saturday for it to just be the two of us and do something fun together. With our schedules being the way they are, it is kind of hard to, I don't know, to actually do something. Like we hang out at the apartment for a couple hours before you know, one of us has to leave and go do something, whether it be work or you know, going to a family function or something like that. So it will be kind of nice to have some time together. I did want to say that last weekend was the Madison Yarn Shop Hop, the first ever and hopefully annual yarn shop hop called, I think it was the Madtown Shop Hop or something like that. I wasn't really able to go to like participate too much in it, but earlier in the week I decided I wanted to check out the Wisconsin Craft Market, which is one of the yarn shops in Madison, and it is not what I expected at all. So when you walk in, and I've heard this from people, like not to let it fool you by the way it looks on the outside and the way it looks when you just walk in. It looks like a very small version of like a Michael's or a Hobby Lobby. It has a lot of craft supplies and painting supplies, and which I think is fun too, kind of odds and ends. But then you walk to the back, it blew my mind. I could not believe, okay, it's not just the amount of yarn that they have in stock. It is what they have in stock. I mean, it ranges from, like, I'm pretty sure I saw like Plymouth and, you know, those sort of thing. Maybe not Lion Brand, but, you know, something around there where it's, you know, a little more, I don't know how to describe it. Not necessarily like acrylic, but just your big box store, your kind of huge company yarns that you could find at, you know, like a Hobby Lobby or something. But then, holy buckets, they have an entire wall of Cascade 220, every single color of Cascade 220. I worked at a yarn shop for 7 years. I've never seen every single color represented at one time. It was amazing. It was like a shrine to Cascade. It was crazy. They have, you know, Cascade, Malabrigo, Barocco, you know, different various yarns from each of those companies. But then they have like 16 or 17 indie dyers that they represent, and they had a lot more of them, I think, in stock for the shop hop than they usually do. But we're talking Brew City Yarns out of Waukesha, Wisconsin, Black Cat Fibers out, I think they're a Minnesota company. They had Leading Men Fiber Arts, I think out of Illinois. I could be wrong. They had, they had Three Sisters Fiber, not Three Sisters, that's Lisa. They had Three Irish Girls. And then, guys, they had Hedgehog Fibers. And that's something that they carry all the time. I was thoroughly impressed. Yeah, it's not the place that you're going to go for knit night. It's not the place that you're going to spend, you know, 2 hours shopping and knitting and meeting people. It's not really that kind of a place. Like I said, it's like a miniature Hobby Lobby or Michael's, but the quality of yarn that you can get there and the variety of yarn that you can get there is kind of amazing. So yeah, really cool. If you want to see some video of the Wisconsin Craft Market, go check out, there's a new podcast up by a fellow Madison resident who I've connected with a little bit on Ravelry and on YouTube here, and she just put out a podcast. I think she just put out her second episode the beginning of this week because she went on the shop hop for a little while. I think she got to like 7 of the 10 or 6 of the 10 shops, which is still super impressive because they were spread out so much, and I'm impressed with anyone who got like more than half. So good for you. And that's Melissa, I believe. I'm sorry if I got your name wrong. I'm pretty sure it's Melissa. And she has the High Fiber podcast. So it's like the word high, comma, fiber. And she did some recording of her time on the Shop Hop, and there is some video of her kind of looking through all of the indie dyers that are at the Wisconsin Craft Market. And yeah, like I said, it was just sort of mind-blowing. really enjoyed going there. I also stopped at Knit Circus for a while, which is an amazing hand dyer who, it's a company, and actually this will go into what I'm wearing really nicely. I'm drinking black coffee, by the way, in my, I think I had this mug the last time too. This is my Debbie Bliss double rib mug, and it's one of my go-tos. I really like this mug. Okay, so Knit Circus. Knit Circus specializes in gradients. They are a hand dyer here in Madison, and they have not only a studio but a storefront in their studio. And it's open most days. You can look on their website for times when it's open, but yeah, it's part of the studio, like I said, so it's open most days. And I am actually wearing a shawl that I knit out of Knit Circus yarn a couple of years ago. And this colorway, unfortunately, is discontinued. This was called Knit, Pray, Love, kind of a spoof, not a spoof, but like a play on Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth. What's her name? Oh my gosh, I can't remember her name. Elizabeth something. Anyway, yeah, you all know, or you all have heard of Eat, Pray, Love, I'm sure. So I don't have to explain that, but yeah, so I knit the Bad Oyster out of this, and it is a shawl. Actually, it's really interesting. So actually, I'll take it off. It's kind of warm in here anyway, so I won't wear it for very much longer, but I just wanted to, yeah, I wanted to wear something pretty and hand knit. So this shawl was actually a steeked shawl, which I got a few questions about steeked shawls. People were just curious about how to do them, and I think someone asked me if I would do like a video about how I do that, and I will once I knit another Bad Oyster shawl. This is the only steeked shawl I've ever done, and yeah, so I'm thinking about, you know, doing, at least just showing a little bit of like what it looks like to cut into the fabric of the shawl, because it is confusing when you tell someone you've knit a shawl and steeked it, like you knit it in the round. I don't know, it's super weird. So you start down at the bottom and you increase as you go, and just imagine these two ends being connected. So this is how many stitches, like this top part, I just folded it in half. This is how many stitches you have on the needle at the end, and you bind off. This top part is your bind off, and it's connected. So these fringes were all knit stitches at one point. And you go up the side, like you start here, and you cut evenly. I think it's like 10 stitches on each side, and you have this really clear line where your increases were as to like where the beginning of the shawl is, and then you cut like 10 stitches on each side of that, and right up the middle, and you cut that all the way up, and then you go through and you drop all those stitches. And that sounds super scary, but like I said, this line right here where you did your increases while knitting the shawl, it's like a fire break, pretty much. You're, you know, kind of pulling the stitches apart and you're letting them drop, and it stops it from going any further. So it's actually super easy. And again, if you're interested, eventually I'll probably knit another one of these. I've knit 3 of them. and I don't have any immediate plans to knit one, but if I do, I will definitely film myself steeking it so that you can see what that looks like. I'm sure there's a video on YouTube of someone doing it, but yeah, if you want to search for that, you can. And again, the pattern is the Bad Oyster, and it's called that because it's a stockinette shawl, but there are no pearls. Get it? Bad Oyster. So yeah, I just thought this looked like a sunrise or a sunset, and I wanted the colors to go from, you know, the yellow, like the sun, into the pink, into the gray, like the sky. I thought that was super cool. And again, this colorway has been discontinued, but I'm really glad that I got a skein of it when I did, like 2 or 3 years ago. And this is on one of their old bases, and it's a Corriedale wool and nylon. Again, they don't carry this base anymore either. But yeah, so that's super fun and tied in very nicely because Knit Circus is in Madison, and it was part of the Yarn Shop Hop as well. And I think I was going to wait and do my announcement at the end, but I think I'm going to do it right now because, again, it ties in really nicely. So the job that I have been kind of alluding to over the last couple of episodes, I got permission to talk about it with you and on this podcast. And I'm happy to announce that I am working for Knit Circus now. I'm so excited. It started out as a part-time job, and we are hoping over the next couple weeks to transition that into full-time. I was looking for a separate full-time job, but due to a couple things happening and just sort of a reevaluating of what the owner kind of wanted my role to be, she asked me if I would be interested in taking on a full-time position instead, and of course I said yes. So I have been working there half-time. I worked this week half-time, and I'll be working next week half-time, but then after that, hopefully, maybe there will be one more week of it being half-time, and then after that it'll go into full-time. So I'm really, really happy. I reached out to them kind of on a whim. They have a really good relationship with Yarnology where I used to work, and the owner was impressed enough. I don't want to say like impressed because that makes me sound like, anyway, she was impressed enough with just my retail background and my knitting background, my love for fiber arts and everything, and she took me on as an employee. Again, like I said, it was really great timing because they had kind of these new opportunities opening up, and I am so excited to be part of the Knit Circus family. Yay! So yeah, this company is super, super cool. I'm going to show you a couple more of their yarns that I have actually had in my stash for, it's at different times. So this, I got them at all like different times. Sorry, I dropped you. My phone just, oh my goodness. That was scary. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Let me just make sure that won't do it again. Okay, and I dropped yarn too. All right, hold on. Okay, as I was saying before it went lights out, I have had some of Knit Circus yarn in my stash for a while now. Like I said, Yarnology carries a little bit of Knit Circus. Hopefully we'll be able to, I think Kelly's, hoping at some point to update the stock or add more. Yeah, so there is some, if you are a customer at Yarnology, you can get some of these there. Not probably these exact colors, but keep your eye out for it. Definitely. So what Knit Circus is known for, like I was saying, is gradients. And they have the most, I think, the most interesting gradient skeins of yarn out there. And another really cool thing that they do is they not only do like single skeins of a yarn transitioning from one color to, you know, another, and then, you know, a couple of colors in between. They do these awesome sock sets that are all perfectly matched together and the perfect amount of yarn, and they are wound up into 2 perfectly matching balls of yarn so that you can have 2 socks, obviously, that match each other perfectly. And this one I got probably over a year ago. This is some of their, I forget what they call the line. It's like sports line or something like that. Anyway, it's like support your team. They dye a lot of the colorways for teams in the area. So Minnesota teams, Wisconsin, and Illinois. I don't know if they do any others. I don't think they do. But they have like Chicago Bears colorway, which I'm kind of drooling over. They have Green Bay Packers. They have Milwaukee Brewers, which is what this is. This is called the Brew Crew Stripes. They have like the Minnesota Vikings. They have, I don't know, they must have the Twins. I definitely know they have Chicago Cubs. And, it's a couple of the other ones. They have the Badgers for UW-Madison. I think that they have the Chicago White Sox, I believe. Anyway, so yeah, so that's really fun, and I had wanted these for so long, and then we actually ordered the Brew Crew and Lambeau. It's called Lambeau Leap, is the Green Bay Packers colorway. We ordered those for Yarnology because we had a lot of interest in them, and I don't think that I still associate myself with them, which is fine. I don't think that Yarnology has any of the sports colorways in stock, but you might be able to do a custom order, again, if you're a Yarnology customer and you let Kelly or Gabby know that you're a huge, you know, Minnesota Twins fan. They could probably order you one of these. Or you can go online because Knit Circus does a awesome online business, and it's knitcircus.com. As you can see, and those are the Brew Crew stripes, like I said, 400 yards, so it's 200 in each, and I'm going to have plenty. I never use 400 yards for a pair of socks, so yeah, this is going to last me, you know, I might be able to do like 2 pairs, or I might make like knee socks because I want to use up all of this awesome yarn. So that's the only sock set that I have. They have so many sock sets and colorways. It's not just the sports. They just go on their website. It's crazy. Being around it the past few days, there are so many I want. They have a colorway called Mischief Managed based on, obviously it's a Harry Potter reference, and you need to go on the website and look at that. And they have a brand new Halloween themed colorway called Bewitched. It is the most Halloween colorway ever. I know of a couple people. I was thinking of like Jilly of the Knitting Broomstick. She is obsessed with Halloween. Jilly, if you're watching, you need to go on knitcircus.com and look at their Bewitched colorway because it is so you. I just want to like send you a sock set of this because I think you would like totally flip out. I think you would love it. But anyway, yeah, go check that out. So the next one I have is just one of their fingering weight yarns. It's kind of the basic merino nylon blend, which is what the sock set is as well. But this is not a sock set. It is just a standalone skein of a gradient. And this, if you guys know me and you have watched the podcast, you know how much I love the combination of blue and brown. Especially this like teal color in the middle. Oh my god. My absolute favorite. So this is 400 yards again of merino nylon, and their base is called Greatest of Ease. And they all come in these cakes already wound up. And yeah, so they're ready to go, and you can see the gradient. That's what I love about it. You can see how it changes. I think you can see it a little better. There's that really bright blue in the middle. And this one's called Sandcastle, I believe. Sandcastle, yes. So, and I don't think that this one is discontinued, but it might not be on their ready to ship list, because they have like ready to ship, it's already dyed, ready to go. They would just throw it in a box for you and ship it out. Or you can do like a custom order. So if you want, say, you know, Sandcastle on a different base and it's not currently in the shop, they would just dye that for you. It's like a 4 to 6 week lag time, kind of, because they obviously, they have a list of things they're already dyeing. They have to kind of fit that in. Yeah. So it's not just, you know, snap your fingers and it comes to you, or they like, oh, someone ordered this, let's go dye it in the kitchen. You know, it's yeah, much more complicated process than that, for sure. So, which I'm sure all of you understand. And then the last one that I have in my stash, which is the one that's been calling my name lately, and you will know why once I tell you the name of this yarn. This I got at the Jefferson Sheep and Wool Festival. Is it called Jefferson, or is it the Wisconsin Sheep and Wool? I think it's the Wisconsin Sheep and Wool Festival, but it's in Jefferson, Wisconsin. And I got this last year when I was there. And this one was their, I think they debuted this colorway at Wisconsin Sheep and Wool, and they also debuted this base. So this base is 100% US Superwash Merino, 440 yards, which is an awesome size of a skein. And it has this really bouncy twist. I really love it. There, you can see the color in the middle there too, is this butternut yellow. I don't know. Oh, there you go. Turn it towards the light. That would help. And guess what this color is called? It is Sweater Weather. I love that. Sweater Weather. Makes me think of the SNL skit, but also all of us knitters, when it becomes chilly out, we're all like, thank God it is sweater weather. We can wear our sweaters. We can bundle up. I feel the most comfortable in like a cardigan. I'm wearing a cardigan today. A cardigan and a shawl wrapped around my neck, or a cowl. Yeah, so I love sweater weather. And isn't that just perfect? I love it. So this has been in my stash for just over a year now, and I really want to knit something out of this. I think this might be in the lineup for my next cast-ons. We'll see. I have to finish some stuff, and I will. I'm making really good progress, and you'll see what I've been working on, but it's October, and I was planning on already having some Christmas presents done by now, and I really don't. I have maybe one, and otherwise I haven't really worked on any other gifts. So that might take priority, and then I can treat myself to this, maybe in between Christmas present knitting. That might be the direction I go. So yeah, I just wanted to show you a couple examples of what Knit Circus dyes, so that you can, if you want to, you can go on their website and look at all the colorways and maybe order something for yourself. If you're local, you should come into the store, because A, I might be there at some point, which would be super fun to meet anybody, and B, you can see all the colorways in person and feel the bases and just see everything that they have to offer. It is so much fun. I really enjoy going there, and I am so excited and just relieved that I get to work at this really awesome place. And I was kind of dreading, because this week was different. Obviously, I was planning on, you know, finding another full-time job. I was still applying and doing interviews to other places, but I had the days free, so I was doing like 5-6 hour days there and just sort of training and learning as much as I could. And I was so dreading the day when I would only be able to go there maybe 2 hours in the evenings, or, you know, a weekend here and there. And then when the owner came to me yesterday and asked if I would be interested in full-time hours, I just like jumped on the chance. I was so excited. So it does feel like a huge relief. Like I said, the next couple weeks I'm still going to be there part-time, but I cannot wait. I'm so excited. Okay, so after I've showed you that yarny goodness and given you my big news, let's move on to some works in progress. So the first work in progress that I'm going to show you is one that you've seen a little bit, and I've talked about how I've just been really craving knitting on this, partially because I've been watching back episodes of the Legacy Knits podcast with Chelsea and Sue, and they are wonderful and lovely, and yeah, I just love their podcast. But then they are both really big into knitting their Cozy Memories blankets. At least they were about a year ago, so I'm not sure if that has waned at all, but the amount of obsession that they, especially Sue, has with her Cozy Memory blanket, I don't exactly see how she could totally lose that momentum, but you never know. Crazier things have happened. So for the last 2 weeks, I've just been craving knitting on my Cozy Memories blanket. But I had some deadline knitting to do. I didn't want to tempt myself to waste, not that it would be waste an hour or two knitting a square when I could be working on, a project that was due. So this week I decided I had to pick up my Cozy Memory blanket. So that's what I did. And it's getting bigger. It's not like the biggest out there, but I love seeing it grow, and I'm super excited to be, like, there's a noticeable change to it. So this one, let's see, I did 3 squares this week. I did this one right here. Ooh, I'm gonna get yarn in my coffee, that's not good. I did this one. This was a little mini skein of yarn that came to me from Jenny of Mountain State Stitches. She sent me a bag, which is currently housing a languishing whip, my Find Your Fade, which I'm dying to get back to as well, but again, it feels like that's almost a selfish knit that can just like wait for a while. Even though I'm knitting other things that are selfish, I don't know what my logic is, but so she sent me a bag. It's housing my Find Your Fade, and she also sent one for a giveaway that I did last year. So, and with it was these minis. She sent me a whole handful of them. I think I have this sparkly blue one for sure was from Jenny. And then I don't know if I have any other, oh, and then this one down here. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. That one right there is from Jenny as well. And then I have a couple more in my bag that she sent me. So I really like this. It has a little bit of sparkle to it, which I'm not sure if you can see, and some dark purples, pinks, greens. It's just really, really beautiful, and it goes really well with, this is like a really deep purple, the one next to it, and the one underneath it is a blue. So I'm not too bent on them matching perfectly, but I want there to be a really good, I don't know, I just don't want them to fight each other, so I'm kind of particular with which one goes where. The one that's going to come on top of this, I'm having a really hard time choosing, just because there's a couple colors in there that they fight other colors, and I just don't know exactly which one to put in there. I have some more upstairs though. I was just looking through my bin, one of my bins of yarn when I was digging out the Knit Circus yarn. And there's some half skeins of fingering weight that I used on socks or on other projects that I haven't taken any of it from those skeins to make a square. Does that make sense? I feel like I just talked myself in circles. Anyway, so that was the first one I did, and then I did this blue one, which is knit out of Malabrigo sock. And if you'll remember, about 2 episodes ago, I think, I showed off some baby socks that I knit for my friend Amber, who's having a baby in November, and I ran out of the yarn that I was knitting the body of the sock in. And so for the toe, I use this really beautiful blue. I'm not sure of the colorway, but that's it right there. And I have like a whole skein left. I only used, I mean, really, how much do you use for the toe of a baby sock? It was like nothing. So I have pretty much a whole skein besides the toes of the baby socks and this square right here. So plenty to do another project with. And then on top of that, this was kind of my main goal, was to get this square on there because this is the second color of my Find Your Fade. And I really want to do all of my fade colors in a row right next to each other. So this tealy blue is the first color. This one right here is the first color of my Find Your Fade. And that's a hand-dyed yarn out of, I forget where. I never get this one right. I can never remember. I remember the colorway name. It's called St. Petersburg because I knit a pair of socks out of this during the Olympics when it was held in Russia. So that is called St. Petersburg. It's like a very woolly yarn. This is the colorway Boathouses by, I'm hoping you can get a good, that's pretty good, by Lisa of Three Sisters Fiber Company. This was a special colorway that she dyed for Yarnology a year ago this summer. So it's been a little over a year now that we had this colorway. And again, I put this in my fade. And then after that, I've done the next two colors in my fade, so I can put those squares on as soon as I get base squares here. So, but I'm just happy. I really wanted to put this square in there so that I have like a whole half a skein of yarn left of Boathouses, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a pair of socks out of it. I'm pretty darn sure. But this is a BFL blend. BFL and nylon, I believe, and it doesn't feel quite, this one feels coarser than this one. I think this is just like a Highland wool and nylon. The BFL is just a tad bit softer. But I was just really, really happy that I got those 3 squares done. It definitely satisfied that craving in me to do my Cozy Memories blanket. And I'm housing all of this in, oh, that's the upside down side. Oh no! I almost let go of that. This is my little yarn bucket, my basket from Paper or Threads by Laura Mooney. And I ordered this on Etsy. I'm pretty sure she's still selling bags. I just loved the basket style, and I loved this fabric with the sheep and birds and the yarn. I still think that's just gorgeous. And then the handles have little like stockinette stitch patterning there. And then the fabric on the inside, I'm not sure if you saw that, is just birds and yarn balls. So super cute. I love this. I wish it was a little more, as you can see, like it caves in on itself a lot. Even when I'm not like, even when I just pick it up or set it down, it sort of like collapses slightly. So I wish the sides were a little more sturdy, but I still love it, so it still works. It's gonna outgrow that pretty soon though, and I was just thinking about what I could get to put it in. I could use just a canvas bag or something that I already have, but part of me wants something really cool, another like bucket type bag to put it in. We'll see. I'm gonna have to do some searching maybe. If any of you have any suggestions of like a really cool blanket bucket bag, some good alliteration there. I would be curious about that. Okay, so project number 2 has been, I'll show you this one. This is in my Bink Waffle bag, another favorite of mine. This is so used. It's still beautiful though, and that's why I love this. It's made out of this really thick, kind of like curtain material, I want to say. Yeah, definitely more of an upholstery material than a soft fabric, but I mean, it is soft. And it's completely reversible, which is another thing I love. So when I kind of get tired of one side, I can flip it inside out and use that side. And I really like how it can just go on your wrist. It is so easy to just grab and go. And sometimes I'll even use this bag for my wallet and my phone. On vacation, I used it a lot as like a makeshift purse. Worked out perfectly. Okay, so the project that's in that bag is a brand new sock cast on. So last week I showed you my finished Rhinebeck is Calling socks, and this week I have that little toe cast on, and these are the Wonderland socks by Tabitha, I forget her last name, I'll put it at the bottom, but she is one of the sisters from the Hey Sister podcast. I don't know why that name escaped me. I really, really love Tabby and Rachel. I think they are quirky and funny and really sweet, and they're gorgeous, of course, and they knit amazing things. They have such, like, it's so interesting to me to like keep up with what they're doing. They have young families, and they're actually both pregnant right now. Rachel is due, I think, at the end of November, and then Tabby's due in February. And Tabby's, I feel like it wasn't really a planned thing. I mean, it's a blessing, obviously, but she already has 4 girls, and now she's having her 5th baby, which is a boy, I believe. But yeah, it was just when she announced that she was pregnant, it just seemed like it was kind of very unexpected. But I think she's really excited about it, and I really love watching their podcast. So this is one of Tabby's socks, and it is called, I think it's her first ever sock pattern that she's published. It's called the Wonderland socks, like I said, and it is a toe-up sock. It's a different toe than I've ever used. Much more rounded than my normal toe. You increase much, much faster than what I'm used to, but I really wanted to follow the pattern exactly. I don't know, I like trying out new things. Just like last time, my last socks I did were cuff down, which I hardly ever do cuff down, but I wanted, again, to try it and to just, you know, knit it as the pattern said. And that way I know, that way I can speak truthfully about liking something or not liking something, preferring cuff down versus toe up, because really I had never done cuff down before. So how was I supposed to know that I preferred it over toe up? I assumed so because I always did toe up. I assumed that's what I would always like to do, but I mean, you might as well try. So I kind of enjoy doing cuff down, but this one I know a little bit more about how to think about the construction of toe up, when to try it on, when to do the heel, you know, things like that, just because I'm so much more used to it. But I am loving this yarn. I really hope you can see. I'm going to turn it towards the light again. And it's hard for me to see because I can't look at the screen while I'm showing it to you. This yarn I've had for about a year as well. Actually, it's kind of funny. This is also from the Jefferson Fiber Festival, the Wisconsin Sheep and Wool. And I got this at the Brew City Yarn booth. This is Brew City Yarn's 80/20 base merino nylon. It is bouncy, and look at that twist. Oh my gosh. I love 80/20. I honestly think that that's my favorite to knit with. I love the twist on it. I love the way it dyes up. I love the way it feels when you're knitting it. It's just gorgeous. And these colors are so pretty. Oh my I love it so much. This yarn is called Burning Leaves. So this is another autumn, fall inspired knit. Not the pattern necessarily, but the yarn. And I had like big plans of being able to finish these and then put them in my favorite color is October Cal, which Tiffany of the Woolen Homestead is hosting. And yeah, she's hosting this cal that you just have to knit something that's like autumn inspired. And Burning Leaves, this colorway is totally autumnal. So yeah, I kind of thought, oh well, I'll get another pair done, I'll get another entry in there. And this is all the work I've done on them in a week. But that's okay. I'm hoping to get back to them. I am really enjoying them, and it just feels good to have socks on the needles. Before my Rhinebeck is Calling socks, I didn't knit socks for I don't know how many months. I finished up a sock, I guess that counts. I had a second sock that I had to do, and I did that in like July, end of June into July, but that was the last sock I had done, you know, until this last pair. And I forgot how much I loved them. So I kind of always want to have a pair of socks on the needles. It just makes sense to me. It's just my go-to project. So that's been fun, and I do really want to get back to those. But the majority of my time this week, besides doing my squares on my cozy memory blanket, I have been doing a really fun special new project. Oh my gosh, this ball of yarn out of the Helga Hufflepuff yarn from Bumblebee Acres. You can see it's like there's so much coming out of it. It's just, yeah. And this is a Corradale nylon blend of fingering weight yarn dyed up in, obviously, the Hufflepuff House colors. From Harry Potter, of course. Hopefully you know what Hufflepuff is. If not, I'm not sure we can be friends. No, I'm just kidding. I'm friends with all of you, but yeah, Hogwarts and Harry Potter and Hufflepuff House is so near and dear to my heart. I'm rereading the books for like the umpteenth time. I'm on the 5th one right now, which is hard for me to get through. I usually get through like 3/4 of it, and then when I come closer to the end, I tend to stall because I really hate the end of that book. For those of you who have read it or at least watched the movies, you know why. But the 6th book is my favorite, and the 7th one I've only read maybe 3 or 4 times. The others I've probably read about maybe 8 to 10 times, I think. So I'm really excited to get to the 6th and 7th book because I haven't read those as much, and I do really enjoy them. So hopefully gonna get through the 5th book quickly. Just keep pushing. So this is kind of inspiring that, and like the book is inspiring the project is inspiring me to read the book. It's just awesome either way. And this is, like I said, it's Bumblebee Acres. They do some awesome fandom yarns. Amazing. They do, what do? Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Outlander. They have done Downton Abbey. They do, I said Lord of the Rings, Doctor Who, a couple other kind of not as well known movies, and then just some fun colorways in general. So, oh my gosh, Game of Thrones, of course, they do Game of Thrones yarn. So, funny story, I also bought this at Jefferson Sheep and Wool, Wisconsin Sheep and Wool last year. So 2 of my projects are being knit out of yarn I got last year at Wisconsin Sheep and Wool Festival, and I'm super excited about them. So I don't think I'm going to show you too much from this because this is actually something that I'm designing, and I'm just trying to think about how much to show you. I think I'm just going to show you kind of how it knits up. So I'm just going to like bunch it like this. You can kind of see, okay. bunching it. I'm showing you how it knits up. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's so soft and bouncy and fluffy, and I love it. Holy buckets. It's awesome. I really like how, because I'm increasing and this shawl is growing, I really love, I don't want to show too much. I really love how it's not pooling very much at all. Like, you're kind of getting stripes. There's a little bit of like pooling with that black and gray, but then it goes right back into the yellow. I love the look of this. And again, this is a design I'm working on, and it is based on and inspired by Hufflepuff House. So it will be named something to do with Hufflepuff, and I've been working on this for about 4 or 5 days, and it's going along quite well, I think. And if everything goes well, it might be ready in a couple weeks. I'm really hoping. I want it to be knit and done and blocked by next weekend. Oh God, which now I'm thinking about that. That's like, okay, maybe not. Actually, no, it has to be, because the main reason why I wanted to knit this was because I'm going to Harry Potter Festival, which is being held again in Jefferson, Wisconsin. Jefferson, Wisconsin has all the best things. They have Wisconsin sheep and wool. They have the Gemütlichkeit Parade and Gemütlichkeit Fest, which is a German festival that they do every year, which Gemütlichkeit is just a super fun word to say. That basically means like happy, joyful. It's kind of a, I think it's more of like an adjective. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. My dad has tried to explain it a few times, but it's one of those words that doesn't translate fully from German to English. It kind of encompasses a few different adjectives and feelings and phrases. So yeah. For those of you who don't know, my dad speaks German fluently. That was his first language, and my Oma, my grandmother, is from Germany, and that's the reason for that. So I don't speak German fluently. I would love to speak German fluently. I know a few words and I can understand it a bit, but yeah. So anyway, actually I actually think I have a couple German viewers. Fanny, for one. I believe Fanny is in, what city do you live in, Fanny? I can't remember. I sent you a package. I can't remember where you live. That's awful. And I've been meaning, sorry, now I'm like, okay, talking to Fanny here one-on-one. I've been meaning to answer your question on my Ravelry. I'm so sorry that I haven't yet. Fanny had a question about my interchangeable set, and she kind of wanted advice on which one to get, whether or not she should get the long lace tips or the short lace tips. And because I'm already getting close to like 50 minutes here or an hour, I will answer that on Ravelry. I thought at one point that I would do it on the podcast, but I just kept slipping my mind, and there's a lot of content today, so I think I'll just go on there and answer it. So Fanny, if you could kind of explain what Gemütlichkeit means, if you know, that would be awesome, because like I said, my dad and my Oma have kind of given me a vague answer as to what exactly that means, and if you have a little more of an eloquent answer than what I just gave, that would be great. But anyway, so Jefferson, yes, has the Gemütlichkeit days. They do Wisconsin sheep and wool, and for the first year, they are hosting the Harry Potter Festival, Southern Wisconsin Harry Potter Fest. And I am so excited. Pretty much my whole family on my dad's side is going, and we're all Harry Potter nerds and fanatics, nerds, geeks, whatever. We love Harry Potter, and my cousin's kids are coming. They're obsessed with Harry Potter. My brother-in-law and my dad, my Oma, my aunt and uncle, we're all getting together and geeking out about Harry Potter next weekend. So yeah, so if you're actually in the area and you are a Harry Potter nerd, come to Harry Potter Fest. It's next Saturday and Sunday, what would that be, like the 20-something of October. Anyway, so I need to have this done. I want to wear this so badly, and I think it would be so fun if I got some pictures of me wearing it at Harry Potter Fest to add in the pattern. But yeah, so the pattern wouldn't be available, if everything goes right, the pattern wouldn't be available for another couple of weeks, just because, yeah, I'd have to get photographs, I'd have to just do the finishing touches of writing it up, and then I'm toying with the idea of having test knitters knit one up quickly. I'll have to come back to that because I'm not exactly sure if I want to do that or not, if I want to like hold up the publishing of the pattern by having test knitters, but it might be a really good idea to have someone else knit through and look at this pattern before I publish it, so we'll see. Yeah, so I've just been really enjoying that. I'm probably about halfway done, and maybe a little less than halfway, and that's all I want to knit on. So you know, it's okay that there's a deadline of 1 week, because all I want to do is sit and knit on my Hufflepuff skein. So yeah, go to their website, Bumblebee Acres Yarn, and they have colorways for each house, and they have some other really fun Harry Potter inspired colorways. Okay, so I don't have any finished objects this week, no finished objects, but I have something else that's really exciting. I got some amazing mail this week, and I am over the moon. This came on a day when I was feeling really down. I was just feeling drained from the job search, from moving, from not having much money right now, because of not having a job. I mean, I do, but when you're not having that influx of a paycheck, you just feel like you're kind of stuck, and it all kind of bubbled up last week, and this came at the perfect moment. It was perfect. It made me feel so good, and yeah, so happy. So instead of me just like going on and on and on about how this made me feel, let me just show you a few things that were in this package. So first of all, this really cool card came, and this is a picture that kind of depicts a legend, an Irish legend, and I just read, it's on the back, this is the name of the legend. There's some Irish words in there that I'm not going to try to pronounce because I would just totally butcher them. And inside, Annie, I didn't even say who this was from, but Annie, the sweet Annie, wrote some really kind words to me, and yeah, it was just a really, really sweet card. And Annie is the owner of the amazing yarn dyeing company, The Moon and Sixpence. And don't be confused, she is, on Instagram, she is the Sixpence Moon, I believe. That's her username, but here, like, her actual store name is The Moon and Sixpence. So that is her information. And let me show you what she sent me. There was some tea, some jasmine tea, which I have not tried yet. I was really tempted to, but I wanted to keep them intact for the podcast. So sorry about that. My phone ran out of storage, so I just went through and deleted a bunch of stuff that I've been meaning to. So yes, okay, I just showed you the tea that Annie sent me, and while that is wonderful and very nice, the main thing, look at that yarn! So Annie is a beautiful hand dyer, like I said, and I have been seeing her yarn on Instagram, and I followed her on Instagram first actually, but I also heard of her through Babel's Traveling Yarns, which is a podcast out of Ireland. Grace is her name. Sorry, I forgot. Sorry, Grace, forgot your name. And Grace got a kit from Annie as well to give away on her podcast, and because she's doing an Outlander Cal right now, so she's gathering prizes and stuff. And so I'd heard of Sixpence Moon, or the Moon and Sixpence as her store is called, and then she contacted me asking if I'd be interested in a package, and of course I said yes, that would be amazing. Yeah, and this came only like maybe a week and a half later to 2 weeks, which is really, really fast because she, like I said, is out of Ireland, out of County Cork, Ireland, and this came in the mail. Those of you who watch my Instagram stories, you will have already seen this because I just could not wait to share it. I was so excited, and the other really exciting thing, I'll tell you, sorry, I'm not really exactly sure how to go about this, but the really exciting thing is that there are 2 of this colorway, which, by the way, is called Pumpkin Spice Latte. Of course it is. That is, this, I honestly will have to say, this is one of my favorite renditions of Pumpkin Spice Latte, or the Pumpkin Spice, this year. I feel like everyone kind of, every year a different dyer has, or several dyers have their pumpkin spice colorway that they come out with. And I've seen a couple, and none of them have really tripped my trigger. I saw this on Annie's Instagram and fell in love. So I love the dark speckles. I think that is what really gets me. That and this tonal quality of the yarn. So it almost has like a yellow, light orange to a yellow base. And then it has the bright, you know, pumpkin orange, which you'd expect. And then those beautiful dark speckles. They almost look black, but then at other times it's like a brown, orangey brown. Again, trying to pick up some light here, but I just love this so much, and I was so excited when I saw that there was 2 of them, because that meant I got to keep one. So I can't remember which one I sort of decided I wanted to keep. It doesn't really matter because they're both beautiful. I think it was this one. I've had them sitting here ready for my next podcast this whole week, and that means that I get to give this one away to one of you very lucky people. I also get to give away a pack of stitch markers, and let's see if I can get these kind of separated here. So she included a few progress keepers and stitch markers. This one has a very pretty bead, a dolphin, and a heart, I believe. Sorry, it's kind of, that heart sort of stuck up there. And then this one is an ice cream cone, a sheep, and another really beautiful, sorry about the glare, really beautiful bead. I think this one is the one that I am going to keep. I have to keep the sheep. I'm sorry. I'm going to be selfish there. But I really love, I love that bright red bead, and I think it actually goes pretty well with this. So you'd have a really autumnal set to work with. So I am going to be using this as my 1-year podiversary giveaway. My anniversary, or my first year podcast birthday came and went mid-September, and so almost a month ago. And I did say something on the podcast, and I wanted to do a giveaway. I had a couple ideas, but nothing really came about from that. And then Annie got in touch with me, and it just felt perfect. I want to celebrate fall. I want to celebrate all the beautiful, wonderful things that come with fall, and I think this skein of yarn just, yeah, it encompasses all of that. So I'm really excited. It'll be the skein of yarn and the stitch markers, and that will be, again, to celebrate my 1-year podcast birthday. Yay! And I'm gonna do a thread on Ravelry. So there'll be a prompt. I'm not exactly sure what the question will be yet, but the heading of the thread will be podcast birthday giveaway or something like that. And I'll have a question there that you can answer, and then in, I think a week. So next podcast, whether I get it filmed Thursday or Friday, maybe I will just say, yeah, in a week. I'll film next Friday again. I think I'm going to be home next Friday. So a week from Friday, yeah, you'll be seeing this Saturday. So a week from yesterday to you, which is today for me, I will close that thread and do random number generator and pick a number, and you'll get this amazing skein of yarn. So thank you so much, Annie, for sending this to me, for being generous and lovely, and I just appreciate that so much. I think it's really cool that it's coming from County Cork in Ireland. I kind of geek out about stuff like that. I've never been out of the United States, which, you know, the United States is quite large. There's a lot of places to visit here, but still, never been outside of the US, and I'm dying to explore some of these places that I get to kind of go there without really going there, through Instagram, through Ravelry, through YouTube, and yeah, I'm biding my time until I can actually go and meet some of you lovely people that live all across the world. So thanks again, Annie, and I can't wait to see who wins that prize. If there are any other makers out there who would like to send prizes for giveaways or knit-alongs, I will hopefully be doing a few knit-alongs coming up here in the winter time. I think that would be really fun. Maybe something after Christmas, because of course I, for one, need to focus on Christmas presents, but I haven't done a knit-along in so long, and I'm dying to. So soon there will be knit-alongs coming, hopefully more giveaways. If you're a yarn dyer, a bag maker, stitch marker maker, whatever you are, if you're a pattern designer, please get in touch with me if you would like to donate a prize or have something featured on the podcast, and I would be happy to do that. Okay, everybody, I think that's about it for me. Today was a bit of a longer episode, but I think it's totally worth it. A lot of fun things to show you, and just excited about all the knitting I'm doing and all the fun things coming my way. So thank you all for watching. I will be back with you again next week. If you have any questions or comments, make sure to go to the Ravelry group, the Ravelry podcast group, and put them there. That is also where my show notes will be. So if you have any, if you want to know what projects I've been working on, or the exact names of the projects, things like that, and you don't want to go back through the actual podcast and try and find it, go to Ravelry and it'll be all listed there. So I'll see you all again very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Do things that make your heart happy and spread kindness, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye.